Do you get ideas for new songs, but often leave them unfinished, struggling to turn them into full arrangements? If so, you're not alone. In this video, we'll walk you through how to create a pre-chorus and chorus. You may remember this song from part 1, where we went through writing the introduction and verse that you can hear now. Let's get straight into arranging the pre-chorus, which will build to the chorus of this song. To get going, we'll use sounds from the Eclectic Essentials pack found in our loop browser. This can be accessed from clicking Use Loops from the start screen or the loop browser icon here. To download sample packs, scroll to Add-ons and select the name of the pack that you want to download. Press Get and the pack will install on your device. We use the analog tape keys loop from the Eclectic Essentials pack when writing our intro and verse, and we'll continue using it in the pre-chorus. As in part 1, we'll use a tempo of 130 beats per minute and set the key to G. Now we're set up, let's write that pre-chorus. The pre-chorus is a great chance to change the mood somewhat and build some tension before we arrive at the chorus. At the same time, we want to balance maintaining some consistency with what we have already written for the introduction and verse. So we'll continue to use our main loop analog tape keys, but add a tremolo effect to give it some new energy. We won't add a beat at the start of the pre-chorus, which will create a sense of space before we go on to add our tension build into the chorus. To do this, we'll drag our original loop into a new track from the loop browser. In ntrack, you can click on the top right of the loop to pitch shift it. We'll shift this loop down from G#5 to G5, so it's in tune with our song key of G. To add the tremolo, we'll navigate to the part mixer. Once this is opened, we'll scroll down, clicking on Add Effects. We'll tap on Touch here to add an effect and select Tremolo. Let's leave the settings as they are and hear the difference that the tremolo adds to our loop. So let's go back into the loop browser, play the original loop and hear how it sounds without the tremolo. I'm sure you can hear the difference. We'll also repeat the bass part from the verse by clicking and dragging on the bottom right hand side of the loop to repeat it. For context, let's look at how we added this bass part to the project in part 1. It's called Assault on Precinct 13 and can be found in the Eclectic Essentials pack. So we clicked and dragged the loop below what we already had in the project on a new track. You can also see this loop was 1 bar longer than the 8-bar loop selection, which we adjusted to fit perfectly by clicking and dragging the handle like so. Adding the bass part to the pre-chorus ensures that we still get some consistency and movement to the track in the absence of a drum pattern. Let's add some new touches to the pre-chorus as it's currently lacking a bit in the higher range. We'll add instrument track and select vocal chant. This is a great instrument. We'll record a couple of notes to thicken out the musical texture, so let's open the screen keyboard and record it in. Okay, we'll stop recording and return to the main project window. Let's also add a couple of high notes from another instrument found in Eclectic Essentials called analog tape keys. So we'll select Synths, Eclectic Essentials and analog tape keys. Also note that when pressing the keyboard icon here, the track that is record enabled will play back rather than the latest track added. We can change the recording status on a track by clicking the Part Record button, deselecting Unarm Recording, and selecting Arm Recording to enable a track for recording. By arming analog tape keys for recording, we can see that it appears in the screen keyboard. So let's record in a part. Again, we'll press the record button to stop recording and return to the main window. We'll listen back to the 2 parts that we've just recorded. This is more subtle, but they're not perfectly in time. So they snap perfectly on a beat. We can double click on a MIDI part, click and drag to select the desired MIDI notes, then long press on a MIDI note. We'll see that a drop-down menu appears and we'll select Quantize. We've got a video specifically about quantization in ntrack Studio, link above if you're interested in finding out more. These two MIDI parts are 8-bar phrases. We'll need to loop them because, looking ahead, we're going to use them again during the chorus. Making sure that our playhead is positioned at the beginning of our pre-chorus, we'll click and hold the new part and select Splice. This cut sets the start point for the phrase. We'll use the part length adjuster to make the parts exactly 8 bars long and then loop them for another 8 bars. This is where the chorus will be. Let's hear how that sounds. So this is the end of our pre-chorus, and this will be bar 1 of our chorus. We can hear these 8-bar phrases are looping nicely. If we hadn't adjusted them to 8 bars, the timing would have been all over the place. Now that we've added the melodic lines, our last step is to add a drum pattern that will increase in tension to lead us into our chorus. We'll go into the step sequencer track that we started when writing the intro and verse. From our playlist view, we'll first add 4 more bars of pattern 2, which, as we discussed before in the part 1 video, is completely blank. We're adding these 4 bars of blank drums because we don't want any drums in the first part of the pre-chorus to give it more of a sense of space. We'll then create a new pattern, and switching to the step sequencer view, we'll increase the number of steps so this pattern lasts for 4 bars. To do this, we'll click on the settings icon. Each bar is 16 steps, so we'll increase the number of steps to 16 times 4 bars, which is 64. Okay, let's build our snare tension build. We'll begin with a snare hit every 2 beats and increase the rhythmic intensity over these 4 bars. To start, let's add a note on snare 2 every time we see the grey column, which is every 8 steps. After 4 of these, we'll add a snare 2 hit every 4 steps and layer it with a hand clap. After 4 of these, we'll add a snare 2 and hand clap every 2 steps. We'll do this all the way to the end of our 64 steps, but for the last 8 step group, we'll also add a snare note on every note. So we'll return to the pattern view, make sure pattern 3 is selected, and add it to the playlist. Let's listen to how this sounds. Can you hear how the drum pattern builds from nothing, gradually getting more intense, and finishes with a bunch of tension? It gets the listener ready for the chorus. For our chorus, we're going to use a developed version of our verse that will include a beat with more energy and a new bass line. This is the main hook of the song, so let's start by copying the original loop and tape noise from the introduction of the song. We'll click and drag to select these parts, and then long press on one of the parts, selecting Copy Selection from the drop-down menu. We'll then move the playhead to our chorus position, so we'll pinch the zoom out and select bar 25 after the end of our pre-chorus, and click and hold, selecting Paste. Back in part 1 we wrote a song melody which we put in the verse. We're going to use this again in the chorus, so we'll long press, copy selection, and paste that in the chorus position as well. Let's now listen to the separate parts we have in the chorus. The original analog tape loop, the tape noise, the repeated melody from the verse, the original loop with the tremolo, and the 2 8-bar phrases that we looped in the pre-chorus. All the chorus parts so far are components we've already used in this song. This will help to give a sense of continuity to the arrangement. For the beat, we'll go back into our step sequencer track and duplicate our beat from the verse by clicking on the duplicate pattern button, and add this new pattern 8 times so it runs throughout the length of our chorus. We'll go to the step sequencer view and increase the intensity of the beat by adding a more developed hi-hat and kick drum rhythm. Let's select the chorus and enable the loop selection playback button. We also want to add some variation in the chorus bass part, so we'll add a powerful bass synth from the Eclectic Essentials pack called Eclectic Bass. So we'll go to Synths, Eclectic Essentials, and there it is, Eclectic Bass. We'll make sure that ARM recording is selected for the Eclectic Bass part, and we'll also unarm the previous track. Okay, we're set up to record the bass. Let's press record, open up the screen keyboard, and compose our part. You might have noticed that the bass part wasn't 100% accurate timing wise, so we're going to quantize it. We'll double click on the chorus bass part to enter the piano roll. In the pre-chorus, we clicked and dragged to select the MIDI notes. Another option is to click and hold on one of the MIDI notes and press select all from the drop down menu. You can then click and hold again and choose quantize, but remember to choose the value that you want to quantize the notes to. In this example, the bass will be better quantized to 1/8 notes, so we've just gone and changed that. Then we can select all and quantize again. Let's hear the chorus with the bass part. Let's solo the bass part. We'll also add a tremolo to this bass synth to give the chorus the feeling of constant movement. So we'll select the part mixer icon, click Add Effects, add a new effect, and select Tremolo. We'll keep the tremolo settings as they are. Let's hear the difference. And in the context of the whole chorus, adding the tremolo to the bass helps it blend with the drum beat and gives the whole chorus more of a sense of momentum. We've now got our track chorus. Before watching the rest of the video, it's important to note that Eclectic Essentials is a premium sound bank. It's included when you subscribe to ntrack Studio Suite Edition on mobile or buy Suite Edition for Windows or Mac. The Suite Edition includes every sound pack available in ntrack. You also get access to our royalty-free samples and exclusive release-ready beats. More detail in the description below this video. This full track is included in the project section of ntrack Studio Suite Edition. It's called Eclectic Mood, and you can locate this track as well as others from the Beats then Project sections in the Loop browser. It includes all parts, MIDI and effects so you guys can use it, release it, change it, or see some of the techniques used to help your own music making. Also, do let us know in the comments additional sample packs and instruments you'd love to see in ntrack, and don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Until the next time, have fun making music with ntrack. Cheers.